You're listening to The Upland Rookie, a podcast presented by Upland Brits. What is up, rookies, and welcome back to the Upland Rookie Podcast. I'm your host, Will Larson, and as always, this is presented by Upland Brits. Well, true confession, guys, sometimes these intros take me a couple times to record. Yes, I do several takes. I'll get about halfway through, I don't like something, I mess something up, and I start over. True confessions of a podcaster. But I'm going to make a vow to you today. This is take one, and I'm only doing one. So here we go. Thank you to my sponsors. First off, Eukanuba Premium Performance Dog Food. If you want to get everything your dog's got, then you need nutrition that holds nothing back. To help unleash your dog's maximum potential, check out the new Eukanuba Premium Performance lineup at eukanubasportingdog.com. Also, thank you to Trinity Bretons. Trinity Bretons now offering the Trinity Upland Academy to help each Trinity Breton client attain and develop the highest level of training available with George Hickox. Trinity is committed to producing premium Epinol Bretons for the field trialer and foot hunter alike. Angels in the home and demons in the field. Check them out at trinitybretons.com. Also, Josh, great job on the new website. It looks awesome. Want to thank a brand new sponsor, Week 1, Pointer Traditions. Yes, Pointer Traditions, always on point. Check them out at pointertraditions.com. They have some of the best collars and bird straps you will find on the market today. Pointer Traditions bird straps are possibly the most durable bird straps currently on the market. Handmade in the USA, these bird straps are made from a PVC-coated webbing instead of traditional leather. The straps feature solid brass hardware that will not rust when exposed to the water, any kind of weather or elements, and the PVC-coated webbing is waterproof and resistant to mildew. Guys, I got 2 collars coming from Pointer Traditions in the mail very soon, and I am so excited to get my hands on these, get them on my dogs, and I'm very excited to let you know what I think of them. I'll post some pictures, but these are killer looking collars. They come with a free brass nameplate, and they are just tough as hell. So Pointer Traditions, check them out, pointertraditions.com. Also, last but not least, I want to thank Cable Gangs. Cable Gangs. Brennan Landry is on fire. Just dropped a new logo for his company, and we have a killer giveaway coming with Brennan and Cable Gang. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to my Instagram page, the Upland Rookie Podcast. That's it, at the Upland Rookie Podcast. And you will find out all the details on a killer giveaway I'm teaming up to do with Brennan over at Cable Gangs. Okay, rookies, here we go. We are jumping into episode 18. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with me over these last several months as this podcast has got up and going. Really just wanted to say a quick moment of just thank you to every person who's been encouraging me along the way, supporting the podcast, sharing the podcast. Every review that you guys leave on Apple Podcasts, I am reading those, and I hear and I can feel the stories and the words that you're putting behind these private messages that you'll send me and just tell me how this has inspired you, maybe to get a new dog or to get out and train more or to hunt a new state this year. Those messages have really, really meant a lot to me. I don't want this to go over or unlooked or overlooked. I just wanted to say thank you guys for supporting the podcast, sharing it, all the things that you're doing really has meant a lot. And the support has truly blown me away. I didn't think there would be this much excitement and involvement around the show. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will shut up and stop getting too sappy again. Last couple episodes, just kind of sharing my heart with you, but just wanted to let you know that I appreciate each and every one of you. So guys, episode 18, I got a good one for you. I sat down with Upland Arizona, or Team Upland Arizona, I guess. I sat down with Trey, Jimmy, and Josh over there, and man, we have a good time just chatting bird dogs, quail hunting in Arizona, definitely talking about a lot about gear. We do chat about, very briefly, pointing labs. So if you own a pointing lab, I'm just going to say you might want to skip to a different episode. I'm not going to lie. Gets a little dicey towards the end, but I'm kind of kidding, but not really. Anyways, these guys, we also dive in. They are doing something really cool. They're doing an Upland vest review. So they've collected pretty much every vest, kind of the big name vest companies that are on the market. And they are compiling an in-depth review. As of right now, they haven't released that full review yet, but on this podcast, we actually dive in and get some of their early thoughts on each of these vests. They got the Wingman Pike, the Q5 Centerfire, the Final Rise vest, as well as Wingman Pike. There's one more I missed. Oh, Chief Upland vest. So they're diving into all four of those vests. So we get an inside look to what their in-depth review will look like. We'll get to hear a little bit more about that. So you are not going to want to miss it, especially as season is coming very, very soon. You won't want to miss if you're in the market for a new vest. This will be a really good episode to tune into. And if you have any questions for me as well, I'm rocking the Final Rise vest. So if you have any questions, let me know. Again, I'm kind of biased. I'm not sponsored by Matt Davis or Final Rise. I'm just passionate about the product that he makes. So just wanted that to be clear. But really fun episode. Okay, what I wanted to get in and talk with you about before we jump into the conversation is travel plans. So travel plans is a big thing. I'm just going to talk about travel plans, especially hoteling it or camping when you are traveling out of state for a hunt, or even in-state, to be honest. I'm just going to go walk through some of my thoughts, process as I'm planning for a hunt coming up here, because we are less than 30 freaking days away from the start of the upland season. So here we go. We're just going to dive in. I'm shooting off the cuff here. Making plans out of state. Depending on the weather, I'm going to choose to camp versus a hotel generally, again, depending on the weather. So let's jump to weather. If it's really, really cold, we're talking November, December, Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, whatever that might be, I'm going to freaking motel it, hotel it, Holiday Inn, whatever you call it. And that's just what I'm going to do. I'm comfortable, I'm warm, I'm cozy. That's a preference. But let's talk about early season, and I'll come back to kind of late season hunt as well, based on the temperature. So early season, my first hunt here coming up, I am planning on camping. So a downside to camping, I guess a pro is it's cheap. You pay $15, $12 a night, for a campsite. If you're camping on BLM land, I think most BLM land, check with your regulations, is free. You pitch a tent wherever on BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, by the way. So that's pretty freaking awesome. You're not spending $50, $60 on a hotel or motel, something like that. Again, it's all on your preference, what you enjoy. Do you enjoy the outdoors? Do you enjoy that experience? Do you have the gear? If you don't have the gear, it might not be worth going out and buying a tent and sleeping bag, sleeping pad, things like that. But if you have it, for me, it makes sense. Is it my favorite thing to do? Camp? No, it's definitely not my favorite thing to do. But I enjoy it. It works for me. And that's just what I'm going to choose to do. When you're out camping, so where I camp for Nebraska Sharptail is I'm able to camp and be within 10 or 15 minutes of where I'm going to hunt the next morning. So convenience factor, you're kind of immersed in the whole experience wherever you're hunting and wherever you're camping. So it could be further, it could be shorter, just depends on where you're camping at. But another option, I mean, if you don't have a tent, but you have a pickup truck, sleep in the back of your truck. Get a little sleeping pad. I'm just bringing my pillow from home. So I got this nice fluffy, memory foam pillow. That's what I sleep best on. So that's what I'm throwing in the truck. And again, it's just me driving by myself. So I got pretty much endless room to be able to, throw what I want in there. Might not be the most rustic camping experience, but again, I'm going to choose a little bit of comfort over convenience for when I'm camping. But do what works for you. If you want to just go minimalist and get a hammock and keep it super simple and minimalistic, then that's great. If it works for you, that's awesome. I think it I don't know. I remember my sharptail hunt last year. And it rained the first day. It was a little bit wet and kind of nasty, but it was a great experience. Had the campfire, not a ton of people around me, which was pretty nice. And just come back in the afternoon, eat a cold, soggy sandwich, fire up some coffee, maybe take a nap, and go back out and hit the prairies in the afternoon. And so it was just part of the experience. It was, again, I'm doing these solo mostly, and it was pretty peaceful, pretty quiet. Took a nap in my tent, fighting off mosquitoes, and as kind of as awful as that sounds, maybe I kind of say jokingly, it was probably my favorite hunt I've ever been on, because it wasn't perfect. It wasn't this picturesque, maybe perfect to someone else, but for me, it was. And so again, for that area I was in, for the time I was there, camping made sense, and that really worked for me. So just know where you're going. Use Onyx if you're looking for hunting location, different land types. If you're looking for BLM land, if you're looking for state land, a camping site, get on Onyx. It's just been a really helpful tool that I've been using a lot. I've mentioned, I know, before on the podcast. So you can really map out before you go somewhere. So where I hunted for sharptail last year, I didn't ever put eyes on the land until I got there. I rolled in at about 11 or 12 at night, but I had a good enough idea what I was stepping into before I got there, if that makes sense. The amount of e-scouting I did, I saw the campsite, I saw where the roads that I would drive in on. I could see the gates of different areas that I'd have to cross over. And so it really gives you a good picture going in somewhere before you go there. We all don't have the luxury of having eyes on the property before we go there. Montana, I had some tentative plans to go up there in August before I hunted up there. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, but I have a good enough picture that gives me enough confidence going up there through e-scouting, through Onyx, through using Google Maps, all that kind of stuff, just to be able to see what the land looks like, pick out my camping spot. And so anyways, it's going to be a full truck. I'm going to have a lot of camping gear, all that kind of stuff. But so most of my trip, I'll be camping. Second half, we'll transition into kind of hotel staying. I have a feeling hotels or motels might be the most common used method of, again, when you're traveling out of state for a hunt. And just some things, again, I'll just take you through my experience, and I'd love to hear, more from you guys on what you've experienced, in hotels, all that kind of stuff. First off, dog friendly. You're going to need to decide if your dogs are sleeping in the truck, if they're sleeping in the hotel, whatnot. And so just kind of figure out a dog friendly hotel. Some places will charge you an extra fee. I know most places will, but depending where you are, it's very, very inexpensive for dogs. I think I've done both, actually, depending on the weather. I've brought dogs in, I've left them in the truck. I've kind of done a combo of both. My dogs, when they sleep in an open room, whether it's a hotel, my older one paces a lot, and so he'll just pace and just he's up all the time, and so kind of a pain for me sleeping. And so I tend to either bring their kennel into the hotel, or leave them in the truck. So again, depending on the weather, but you're going to want to check on hotel arrangements, pet policies, all that kind of stuff first. Other things with hotels is, I always bring my gear inside the room. I know some people leave it in the truck. That's fine. Just, I feel safer if especially the important stuff. So I'm bringing my shotgun in, ammo and collars, electronics, all that kind of stuff. I just feel better. It's just going to be something you're going to want to think about. Cars have, great alarm systems, all that kind of stuff, but I just feel safer if it's in my possession, because once I get to the hotel, I might run out for dinner. I probably already had dinner before I got to the hotel, and so I'm not leaving that room the rest of the night. Again, maybe a personal preference of myself. Maybe I'm a weirdo. You tell me what you guys do, but I bring my stuff in. But getting your dogs fed, make sure you're bringing enough food for them. Bring them inside. This doesn't even really carry over to hotels or versus camping when you're going somewhere. But after a hunt, so that evening, I'm giving my dogs more food than they normally get. They had a hard day running. They're going to get more food. I'm also going to be putting water in their food. So water up their food. Again, this is just what I do. I'm not sure what you do, but chances are they probably didn't drink a whole lot that day, or maybe as much as they should. So I'm just going to make sure they're getting that water that they need through their food, because I know they're going to eat their food. So I'm just going to add a little water in there just to make sure they get that extra hydration that they need. And again, they worked hard. They used up a lot of calories and a lot of energy hunting throughout the day. So that's just something I do. I know my buddy Matt Harrell, he kind of told me that a long time ago. And I've been doing it when I travel and hunt. Just make sure those dogs stay hydrated and in their top condition. So other than that, guys, just account for time when you're in a hotel for bringing gear in, bringing gear out. Take some time to unload your truck or some of the important things and load it back in. Bring dogs in, bring dogs out, bring dogs to the bathroom, bring them back in your room, whatever it might be. So just know there's going to be some more travel plans involved. Find a safe spot for your room key. That's an important one. Again, you lose it, you get another one very easily, I know. But I've had an experience where I lost a room key, and it was just a pain in the ass. I think I was taking a dog out late at night, and I had my wallet in the room. And it was just kind of a hassle to recover my room key or get a new one made. So keep it in a safe spot. Keep it in your pocket at all times, or somewhere you're going to remember it. So don't be like me. Other than that, guys, I think, again, like I said, just as much as you can, if you're traveling out of state this year, put eyes on a map before you go. Just paint yourself that picture wherever you're going before you get there. It's going to save a lot of time driving around, all that kind of stuff. Another thing I'm doing this year is, with all my out-of-state traveling, I'm putting the gas can in the truck. Again, a lot of back roads, a lot of rural areas, that I'm going to keep a 5-gallon gas can in the truck just in case I'm running low, need to get to, somewhere a little further. I'm also packing one of those little battery jumpers. So again, something happens, you leave a car door open, battery dies, I'm able to jump my battery there. So some of those items, some of those kind of recovery or emergency items that can get you to the next town or get your truck started up, are going to be worth looking into. I just updated, and I'll go over this further. I'm going to do an episode on my truck setup, and so I'll go into a little bit further depth on what I have in my truck this year. And again, some of those recovery items, Travis Warren and we did a podcast a while back that'll be releasing in a few weeks. He put a video out actually on his truck setup, his deck system, and kind of what he's rocking in there. And it just got me thinking a little bit more on having some of those essential recovery items. Again, where you're hunting, I do a lot of solo hunting personally. And so being able to kind of troubleshoot and get yourself unstuck or get yourself safe and back to a a town is important. So I did upgrade some of the items in my truck that I'll go over in a later episode. So stay tuned for that. I'll kind of go through again what I'm carrying in the truck. But anyways, guys, that's kind of all I have right now. And this wasn't super planned out. Hopefully this was helpful. You are probably just anxious and excited to get to the actual episode. But yeah, figure out what you're going to do. Early season is a great time, I think, to camp. Just be out in nature even a little bit more than you are. But nothing wrong with hotels or motels either. They provide some great options, even some snacks or some breakfasts, things like that. I don't know if they're doing breakfast anymore, but maybe some places are. Pack lots of food, pack lots of water when you're traveling. It's going to save you in, those McDonald's trips, those gas station trips. Pack a bunch of, peanut butter and jelly, turkey sandwiches, whatever it might be. Just have those things on hand, snacks, Pringles, chips, whatever it might be. I bring a lot of goldfish because we have them at the house a lot. So whatever's in your cabinets, whatever's cheap at the grocery store, pack those snacks. It'll help as you are traveling on the road versus, spending extra money just on travel food and stuff like that. So again, I try to be somewhat budget conscious. I'm already spending a lot of money on gas, traveling, license, all that stuff. So I'm looking for some other ways to cut costs, keep costs down at least a little bit, keep the wife happy, which is always a good thing. So all that to say, guys, I'm going to wrap this up, but tell me your travel ideas. What's worked for you, whether it's camping, hoteling, Airbnbs even. I've looked into some Airbnbs that are in the general area of some areas I want to hunt. And that can be a great option too. Pretty inexpensive, but provides some more laid back environment than a hotel or a Motel 6 or something like that. So always a good option as well, but would love to hear what you guys are rocking or what your thoughts are as you're planning these 2021-22 out of state hunts. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for episode 18. Sorry this went a little bit long. We're going to jump into episode 18 with Upland, Arizona. Enjoy.
All right, let's do this.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Do you guys fish? Do you guys fish at all too, or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We do.
Okay. Fly fish.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, a little bit. I'm not good, but I try.
Okay. I did a lot of bass fishing growing up, and I haven't gotten into fly fishing out here. Colorado's like fly fishing heaven, and just haven't had the time to dive into that.
That's ridiculous. That's the only reason I'd move to Colorado.
Yeah.
There's people from Kansas who drive out here to fly fish, and I'm like, really?
Yeah. It's great.
I just got back from up there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was fishing down by Durango area, fly fishing down by Durango.
Okay. Yeah, I heard it's a great just summertime activity, and I don't know if I have the capacity for it right now. Training dogs in the summer and podcast now and all the kiddos. I'm like, I'm feeling it. I'm like barely at my max right now, and so I don't know. Maybe someday.
You'll find now that you have more dogs, you're gonna have less time to do anything else. Because you'll just want to spend more time training your dogs.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's the way I feel anyway. So
exactly. Well, Tress, you just so how many dogs do you have? Because you just held up a puppy to me a little while ago.
Yeah, I'm at 3.
You're at 3. Okay.
I'm at 3. And I co-own one other one, but it's not at my house.
Okay.
I co-own with a breeder.
Oh, nice. And Josh, how many do you have?
I have 2.
2. And Jimmy?
I have 4. I have a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old retired Brit. She was my first one, and then I have a 9-year-old Brit. He's doing great. He's getting a little slower, and then I have a 6-year-old lab that runs with us, and then I have a 1.5-year-old Brit pup.
You're the lab guy that Tress told me. About.
Yeah. Yeah. She thinks she's a Brit. She's never seen anything else, and she's white, so she thinks she's got horns on her.
Nice.
She just doesn't know. She identifies as a Brit.
It's all about what they identify as, right? Oh my gosh. Well, cool, guys. This is gonna be fun. Well, let's kind of jump right in, guys. Let's I don't know where to start. Let's just go through one at a time. Just tell me a little bit about who you are. Tell me a little, just who you are, and put us on a map.
Go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead, Trace.
All right, I'm gonna go. Let's go, Trace.
All right. I grew up. The question is where we started hunting, right?
Nope. Just tell me a little bit about who you are.
Oh,
and then put me on the map.
All right. I'm in Gilbert, Arizona, greater Phoenix area. Just a blue collar worker that loves to hunt and fish and chase his dogs. And I'm a family man, first and foremost. So, that's me. I mean, that's it.
That's great, man. That's great. And you already said you got 3 dogs. So that's a full house right there.
It is.
That's great, man. And then Josh, how about you, man?
Yeah, basically same thing as Trace, blue collar guy. Been living in Arizona most of my life, and been hunting big game, small game, as well as love to fish. I've been fishing since I can walk, so I love the outdoors.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And yet you already said you're pretty similar geographically to Trace.
Yeah, we both live in the same town, Gilbert, gotcha. Arizona. But he just lives about, 15, 20 minutes away or south of me.
Okay. Very cool. Jimmy.
I am in central Phoenix. So I'm right in the middle of Phoenix. I got a little rare type property. I got 1.25 acres right in the middle of town that's irrigated from the backyard. Probably got 20 trees in there from the road. You wouldn't realize you're in the middle of the desert. So I got lots of room for the dogs to run and mess around here, but I'm right in the middle of Phoenix. I am to identify myself, I'm a husband. I've been married for 23 years. My wife's super supportive. My wife was born, she has a disease, cystic fibrosis, and she just had a double lung transplant about 3 years ago. So so we never had children. So we got puppies, man, we got dogs, and we love them. We're both veterans, and I love the outdoors. She supports that too. We do a lot of camping. We do a lot of hunting. We put in out here is everything drawn. I think Colorado's the same way, a lot of draws. So a lot of draws. So we put in every year for our elk and deer and antelope. And when we get drawn, cool. And really the obsession be upland. I love running the dogs. It's just all about working the dogs. Love to hunt. I love to hunt the birds. So even this year, I put in for late hunts and trophy hunts just so I wouldn't get drawn. So I'd have my early November freed up so I can take my trip, take the dogs.
There you go. So. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Kind of curious. Well, first off, can you guys hear my dogs going nuts on the side of the house?
I was wondering whose dogs they were.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, crap. Give me 1 second because they're losing their mind.
You're good.
I don't want to touch this to mess up the screen.
Oh, okay.
Two boys were having a little war.
Oh yeah.
Golly. All right, let's jump back in here. How did you 3 meet?
Jimmy and I worked together. And then Josh and I don't know how we met. We just met on a website, really, just talking about hunting, quail hunting, and not many people were posting about quail hunting. It was just Josh and I. So we decided to go for a hunt together, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then every season since then, we've hunted together and just became friends. And Jimmy and I worked together, and I mean, we've become real close friends since then too. We've been working together 9 years, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, we've been on different projects, but seeing each other around, and then we got hooked up on the same project and just clicked and found out we were running dogs. And then it's real interesting. It's really great when you're running the same dog. He has Brittany's, I have Brittany's, we're all, hey, yeah. So it worked out good. And we just started hitting it off, started just like Josh, we all talk about hunting and then started meeting up a little bit. And here we are.
That's great, guys. Yeah, I think, obviously the upland community, I think when we all share a passion for something, that brings people together really easily. But then another layer, I think when you have the same dog breed, I think that even brings people together even more on another cool kind of level.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Exactly.
Let's dive into a little bit, jump around, but your own personal story. Like, did you all grow up hunting? Is it something you guys got into later in life, or like what's kind of your own personal story?
I grew up in northern New Mexico, a little town called Espanola. It's lowrider capital of the world, in case you guys were wondering.
So you say lowrider capital?
Lowrider. Oh yeah,
Okay.
lowrider. We everyone around us had lowriders.
Nice.
I didn't get into lowriders much. I did a lot of fishing and hunting because you're in great hunting and fishing area up there. I hunted big game with my dad and my cousins and my uncles. And then, but I preferred fishing. I preferred fishing since I was a kid. I moved out to Arizona, didn't know where to hunt, didn't know where to fish. I started picking up bass fishing. And then about, I don't know, 9 years ago, my chocolate lab died on my birthday. And then I wanted to find another dog. And I found Canine Brittany's was selling a started dog, a 2-year-old dog. And I bought Hick, and my son was 1 year old at that time. And those two clicked immediately. And then I figured I had to start a dog. I better start quail hunting. And it's been on since then, man. I mean, it's all I really want to do other than hang out with the family. It's go chase some birds.
So
find the dogs.
For you, Trace, did things kind of really then click once you got the pointing dog for you? It just kind of take Upland to a whole new level then?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think I would hunt quail if I didn't have a dog. I'd probably just be fishing. Honestly. Yeah.
It's still a great pastime, but.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
The dogs do it for me.
Yeah. Before we move on real quick, how old are your kids, and have you gotten them kind of involved in some of the bird hunting yet, or training of dogs?
My daughter is 10. She went dove hunting with me last year. She enjoyed that. But at the same time, she's starting to turn into that age where she's too cool for everything. So I'm hoping I didn't miss that opportunity.
Sure.
And my son, he's 7. He's not into it. He's a gamer. I think I still have time for him.
Sure.
I mean, he's such a gamer. You know, we were talking about Jimmy's wife taking care of all the technical stuff. I go to my 8-year-old son, nice. And he's like, "Let me show you how to do this, Dad." No, don't do it that way. Let me hook you up here. I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
They know so much more than we think.
He's an IT guy already. He's a child. But
it happens, man. It happens. Josh, how about you, brother? Tell me a little bit about your Upland story. How'd you get into it? Did you grow up doing it? Give us the lowdown.
So I've always loved to fish. So like I say, when I was younger, I would fish with my friends, my grandparents, my dad. When I was really little, then we moved away to Arkansas, and over there, I really got into small game hunting. We had 55 acres. And so I would hunt squirrel. I got my first 410, or my first shotgun. I was a 410 shotgun at probably about 12, 13 years old. And I'd go out, shoot squirrel. We had bobwhite on the property. And so, I was just shooting everything, it seemed like, back there. And I just loved it. I didn't have a dog. I didn't have a pointing dog, but I really got into just hunting then. And then we moved back to Arizona and got into quail hunting then, just driving the roads with buddies when I was in high school, 16 years old. We would drive not very far from Phoenix area, and we just drive the dirt roads, and you'd see the quail running across the road. We would stop, all of us would stop, grab our 12 gauge shotguns, go chasing after the quail and get a few, jump back in the truck and take off down the dirt road and do it again. And we were doing it like every 2 or 3 miles. You just drive a couple miles and see coveys of quail. And then my dad, he got a Springer Spaniel.
Okay.
And we went pheasant hunting, and he trained the dog and everything himself. We went pheasant hunting, and that really sold me on a bird dog. We were in like a Walmart parking lot area, and there was like these cattails and just a small little thing of grass and stuff. And he says, if there's a pheasant there, he says, the dog will find it. And I was like, really? And so he lets his Springer out, and the Springer goes in there, and then you see this nice rooster come flying out of there.
In a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, out of all places.
That's a first.
And so then we went to a pheasant farm, and I got to walk behind the dog. The dog stayed really close. It hunted, it wouldn't go out there 50 yards. It'd stay within 20 yards of me, and I would just walk, and he would just zigzag in front of me. And it wasn't a pointer, so it was a Brittany, so it just it would just flush the pheasants, but it was a lot of fun just having the Brittany flush them. And then it wasn't until it was probably about 8 years ago, I got my first Brittany. And there's a guy here that posted on his website. A lot of people check out it's Bob Corley's website. What's it called again?
Arizona Quail Hunting Camp. Excuse me, Arizona Quail Hunting Camp.
Yeah. Yes, it's a really good site. Good information on Arizona quail hunting here. But he posted on there, he had a buddy that was selling some Brittany's, and I reached out to the guy, got our first Brittany pup, and worked with her. I took her out that first year. I think it was 33 or 34 different times during that season. Right. And then by her second season, she picked it up what she needed to do. And I loved it since, because she's a pointer. So it's just awesome to sit there and watch your dog work in some birds and then locks up, and you have 3 or 4 Gambel's quail hiding underneath the prickly pear patch, and she's just holding them there. And you go kick the prickly pear, and they come flushing out of there. It's a lot of fun. So, but to rewind, before the Brittany, I was hunting, elk and deer, and I love to just get out there and hunt and be out in the outdoors. But the upland bird hunting is definitely where I pretty much have given up big game hunting, because I love upland bird hunting so much. Plus in Arizona, you can hunt big or upland birds from September all the way through. You
guys have a really long season, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yep. And it starts in like September, middle of September. Well, if you shoot doves, that's the beginning of September, but middle of September all the way through the middle of February. Yeah, middle of February. And the nice thing about upland bird hunting is you're not unlike big game, you get drawn for a unit and you just have to stay in those boundaries, where upland birds, you can go all over the whole state and look for them. And even on the reservation here, you can pay a fee and you can hunt the Indian reservations here.
Oh, I was wondering that actually. I saw that on Onyx, the big reservation, and I was like, oh, that's. I just didn't know you could even hunt it. I was like, oh, that's a big area you can't hunt, but.
No, I think it's $10, and you can hunt on there for the day.
10 or 12 bucks.
Easy,
right on.
Easy to convince your wife that you could pay that amount. I'm just kidding.
Oh, totally. Honey, I drove all the way to Arizona.
Exactly.
Can I spend $10 extra?
You'd have to check in with the warden on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
And I have a couple kids, and I've taken my wife out. She's an animal lover, so it's kind of strange that she married me, who goes out hunting and fishing all the time. But she loves to be outdoors, but she doesn't like to see animals die or any of that.
Fair enough.
Right. And then my son, I've taken him out. There's a lot of hiking and quail hunting. And so after about an hour.
How old's your son?
He's 13.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 13. And so when he was younger, he would take out a little Red Ryder BB gun, and the quail would flush, and I would shoot him, and he goes, "I got that one." He'd shoot it with his BB gun. So it was a lot.
That's awesome, man. Going back to the wife, when you mentioned that about your wife, I was thinking about mine. She's not a dog lover, or not really an animal lover, and we got five chickens, 9 pigeons, and 3 dogs. So, God bless her. I don't know how it's possible, but that's awesome, Josh. Well, Josh, I think, is it a fair statement to say, as I was kind of listening to your story there, it really sounds like once you got your first pointing dog, that's when kind of things really clicked for you. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
We're
definitely.
2 for 2. We're 2 for 2. Jimmy, let's see. What's your story?
I started hunting out here in Arizona. I moved from Pennsylvania to Phoenix. My dad moved us out here when I was 10, and around 12, my dad's worked in a machine shop, owned a machine shop with a guy, and his grandson turned 10 when I was 12. So we're about 2 years apart. So they started taking us out then. So I started hunting when I was 12, running around. We got our cottontail was pretty phenomenal back then too. So we do a lot of quail hunt and shoot, same thing. I had a single shot break action 410 that they sent us out there with, and I hunted with my I call him my cousin, my cousin Jason. He was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man in his. We're still super tight. He still goes out with us here. He's more of the fisherman though. He likes to fish, so he got me into a kayak last year, and we stay outside. We do a lot of outdoor stuff together. But I went away to the military. That was pretty much growing up. We do that every chance we could, as far as the family taking us out, my dad and my granddad and he and I, and then I went away to the military. I tried college for a couple of years and kind of stopped hunting a little bit during that time. I put in for big game, but really didn't get out on my own very much. And then went to the military, and I met my wife. She was active duty in the military also, and we were stationed in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and her father was in Silver City, New Mexico. So we'd go down there and see him, and he's a hunter. So we started, he's all, yeah, we can quail hunt down here. So we started running scalies probably down in 95, probably 95, 97. I got married in 97. So right around then, we started running scalies down in, the Southwest. Well, yeah, that'd be Southwest New Mexico.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably Lordsburg around there. So we started running scalies down there and hunting there. And then I grew up with a lab that didn't hunt. My dad was all like, well, it's just a house dog. You can't hunt it. So we got out of the military and we moved to Phoenix from Albuquerque. And, I bought my first lab, and mostly because I couldn't get anybody else really to go hunt with me. So I bought a lab and started taking it out, and it was terrific and did great. And then we'd go to Nebraska. My father-in-law likes to hunt Nebraska, and we'd go clear up by Lincoln and such. He was stationed there in the military one time, and we'd go up there and hunt Nebraska, and I'd take the only dog we had. So that lab, and we'd run her pretty hard. You know how hard it is with having one dog, and she'd walk every field with us. We'd hunt up there 3 or 4 days and then come back. And then one time I was up, we were up there watching, we just worked a field, or we're getting ready to work a field, and we looked down, and this guy's running this GSP with a lab right beside him, or 10 or 15 yards in front of him. And he was just doing great, man. I just like the look. I like the feel of it. He had this GSP working long. He had this lab working close. So when we got back after, that was probably our 3rd trip to Nebraska together, I found a litter. It was just a backyard bred litter of Brits, and I bought 2 of them. I bought my father-in-law one. I bought me one. I'm sure he had to fly it back. He spent more on the plane ticket to get that dog back, because they can't put them in cargo and everything at that time of year. So, I bought 2 Brits, and that's my 13-year-old I got here, and he's still his male. I bought the female, and he bought it. I got him a male, and we went that way. And then I bought another lab next, because I wanted to have that lab. I don't want them to get too close in age. It's hard losing dogs At the same time. It's hard losing dogs, period. But I really don't like them that close. So my lab's now 6. And then I have the 13-year-old, the 6-year-old lab. And then I bought a 1.5-year-old Brit. I bought a Brit when she was a pup, 1.5 years ago or whatever. But my father-in-law got sick, and he had his Brit. He had got another one, the 9-year-old I have now. And he said, I can't hunt him anymore. I can't move around. He's 3. Can you take him? So I'm personally, I like the female dogs myself, and I love that dog too. So we brought him in the mix. So that's how I got
right
4.
on.
And I love working them together though, man. And it's great for me how it works with the Brit and the lab, but my team here is super, super. They're very. They don't judge me because that lab doesn't honor any points. I can keep her close, but when their dogs are on point and you got a back dog, and then I walk up there, my lab just pushes through them. It can kind of hurt them, and when they're trying to train their dogs for trials and stuff. But we don't hunt all the time together. But that lab together, it lets me stand back a little bit. That lab
sounds like they all get it done still.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's terrific.
It sounds like a similarity to all you guys. It sounds like when you kind of started to go down this upland path, it sounds like you all kind of went with a Brittany first. I'm just curious what, and anyone can answer this. What kind of, how much research did you do? Did you know, hey, I just want a Brit and that's what I want? Or what went into the thought process?
For me, I wanted something, I did research. I originally wanted something similar to a lab, that I could possibly hunt with, but I would chill out in the house. But from going from a lab, my wife wanted something that didn't shed much. Who wanted something smaller. So I did a lot of research on that, and everything I read said that Brittany's don't shed. They're all full of crap. Brittany shed.
They are full of, yes, they do shed.
Brittany's shed plenty, not quite like labs, but they shed. But yeah, I did a lot of research and I went with the Brittany just because.
So mostly temperament. Mostly temperament.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on. Is that kind of similar for all you guys?
I grew up, my father-in-law had 2 Brits growing up, or, when my wife was a child, so they grew up with 2 Brits, and he hunted them in Nebraska, and he was all about the Brittany's, and my wife was all about the Brits. Okay. So I didn't really know anything. I'll tell you now though, I have 3 Brits. My father has 1 Brit. My stepdad, or my father-in-law still has 1 Brit. My brother has 2 Brits. So we are probably 7 Brits heavy just in our, and I got a lab that identifies as Brit. So we're 8 dogs with 7 of them being Brits. So I think I might get divorced.
Oh yeah. You're far down the path now of the Brit world. But buddy of mine, he found out I just picked up Win a few days ago. And he's like, dude, you're pretty far down this Brit world. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty far down the path, and I feel great about it. So
I just like it when you talk about other dogs. You're like, I'm thinking about this kind of dog, and your wife's like, hey, your whole logo's Brittany.
Exactly.
I heard her get
exactly. Yeah, we were. She's like, you can't deviate from the Brit. I'm like, yeah, fair point. And I do like them. So, hey, how did this Upland Arizona thing come about, guys? Because you're relatively new, right? On Instagram, at least.
We're very new. Was it last year? I decided to just build like a website for the 3 of us to dump our photos on. And so if people want to see anything, just go to the website and check out our photos. I'm not a Instagram, or I'm not an Instagram, not a Facebook. I'm not a social media person whatsoever. But with that website going up, I said, you know what, let's try this Instagram thing, and we'll put it up just as Upland Arizona. And that's just how it took off. I mean, these guys were all for it. They were ready to post their pictures and just share our adventures. I guess that's it. It was mainly just for us, but once the Instagram thing happened and kind of started taking up.
I feel like kind of maybe around the time you guys started this Instagram for yourself, I feel like there's a lot of Arizona accounts now. Is that accurate, you think? I just feel like there's a bunch of Arizona things.
I couldn't tell you what there was before we started this, so I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of Arizona stuff.
I love it. I think it's really cool. I've been noticing there's like Arizona quail today. There's a couple other big, not big, but they're getting big.
Yeah. Borderland. He's
Borderland. Yeah.
He's great. And then
he's putting out some great stuff.
Oh yeah. He's pure entertainment.
Yes. There's those accounts that I follow, and I just really the value I get from them is just very, very high.
Absolutely.
I love that. I was going to ask you guys. Oh, okay. We're going to get into some other things here. I want to talk a little bit more about hunting. Your this past season for you guys. But who is the owner of the vest? You guys took a picture of a vest dump not that long ago.
There's two of them. The first one where he's 30 pounds.
Okay, that one.
That's Jimmy. That's Jimmy.
Jimmy, are you carrying all that stuff in your vest? Oh,
every day. Yep.
Even on short hunts.
Jimmy, explain yourself.
Yeah, I'm a Boy Scout. I think you should have it, but I don't know. I'm kind of like interested now. We got another vest, I'll be changing vests this year, and it doesn't quite have the capacity. So we're going to see how it limits down. But yeah, I'm a freak, man. I carry my box of shells and I carry a spare box of shells just in case. I don't know.
Nice guy.
Well, yeah, but you know what? The price of shells in the field, they go up high. Let me tell you, they cost
Trace or Josh
field,
run out.
Walmart's up the road 10 miles. You can go up to Walmart, but mine might be a little bit more expensive. But they're right here.
For the other two guys, have you ever had to borrow shells from Jimmy?
Not from Jimmy, but I know Josh has borrowed from Mr. Corley before.
I have. I shot through a couple boxes of shells on a really good morning and ran out of shells. I had to bum shells off of everybody.
Did you get close to your limit, or do you have a lot of misses?
I had a lot of misses.
Okay. I appreciate the honesty. It happens. Hey, but before we go down the vest route, sorry, I got a little premature there. Catch me up. What was this past? Well, I know. So I'm so excited. What was this past season like for you guys? Kind of give our listeners a little recap. What was 2020 quail season like for you guys?
2020 quail season for gambles was probably the best I've experienced since I've started. A lot of gambles out there. We had more time to hunt. It was just my favorite gamble season to date. As far as scalies and merns, I think we only went scalies twice and maybe once, I don't remember. And then merns, we didn't go at all because summer rains for the last 2 years down there weren't very good. It was dry, scenting conditions are terrible, and the hatch wasn't very good. So I wanted to give them a little break from being shot at, because I'm not going to hit them anyways. But I spent my whole season for the most part chasing gambles.
Yeah, I think it was an amazing year. The past 2 years have been great. I kind of log where I go and how many times I hunt and which dogs I take out and any injuries that occur. I just like to keep a little running track. Mostly this is my way to make sure that I'm doing the dog right. I've had that black lab. She might have went out a couple times a season other than when we took our trips in Nebraska. And I think it's important. I really want to do the dogs justice. They love going out and I love doing it. So this last year I went out 23 times with other people and by myself and everything like that. I took not me, but over those dogs, over 120 birds were taken. That's 120 wild quail that were shot in the vicinity of the dogs to get a lot of. So having that pup out there that first year, she was a lot of sight hunting, a lot of running around, and a lot of chasing Tweety birds and all. By the end of it, man, she knew what she was doing, man. She really did. It turned on. She ended up going out. She had 13 trips to the field. Probably the last 5 or 6, she was really kind of figuring it out. So it was a tremendous year for me. I loved it.
That's really cool. And also, Jimmy, I really like that you keep the stats on that. I think that's really cool that you can look back and be like, oh yeah, my pup went out 13 times. That's actually pretty cool. I like that.
I should probably do that.
Yeah, I did. Especially with the new pup, it's awesome, man. I like to look at that. So at the end of the year, you hear, mostly duck hunters, 10,000 birds have been shot over this dog. I can do the math. I started it with my lab. I can do the math. I mean, not every dog was retrieved by her or not, but maybe she ends up in 10 years or 15, 10 years, probably 10 years. Maybe she'll have 300 birds shot over her, whatever, those are wild birds. And
that's pretty cool. I like that. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, this past year, like Trace said, that it was a really good gambles year. Trace and I and Jimmy, all three of us went out quite a few times, and we had all of us got several birds, and it was a good desert quail year for sure. We didn't go after any Mearns quail, and I think, like Trace said, we only went after scalies a couple of times. But yeah, I do the same thing that Jimmy does, where I try to keep track of how many days I go out during the season, how many birds were shot, and just kind of keep track of that over the years and try to maintain that number or, even exceed it. But it was a good year, I would say, for gambles for sure. This past season.
Are you guys keeping track of, sorry, I'm really fascinated by that. Are you guys keeping track of like coveys you find or a number of flushes?
Mm-hmm. I keep track of how many coveys I find on that day, how many birds were shot, how many miles I walked, as well as the dog walked, and even the location I was hunting, the exact location.
Right on.
I do location and the miles, the dogs. I love the GPS now, so I can see the lab's running 17 miles, and people are like, "Your lab's a little overweight." I said, "Man, she runs half marathons every weekend. She ain't a little overweight. That's fit, But I don't do coveys, but I'll do like how many roosters or how many hens, I take, stuff like that, so I can break down at the end of the year and say I took 60 roosters and 60 hens or whatever the number may be, and of different species too. So if we went pheasant hunting or whatever, I'll put all that down.
I love that
down on there. But I don't do covey flushes and stuff like that.
For someone who's wanting to maybe do that, because to be honest, about 3 years ago, I had a similar idea in my head. I built this Google spreadsheet with, what the temperature was, what day I hunted, dog work, all that kind of stuff. I just never got around to putting the data in. Like, what's some advice you would give to someone, say someone out there like, hey, they have this idea, they want to do this. Like, what's the best way to actually accomplish this?
Keep a notebook in your truck. So you can write everything down immediately. You're not going to get to your spreadsheet right away. So you'll start forgetting your numbers by the time you enter your information. Write in a notebook, keep track of it. And then when you're ready to sit down on your Google, just type it in. That'd be my suggestion. Just get it done right away.
What I've done is, I still have old calendars. We always have a calendar hanging up in the kitchen or the pantry. And so after the day's hunt, that's where I'd write down that information on that day.
Right on.
I do like, I just got a dedicated notebook that I keep in my gun safe with my shotguns, and I pull that notebook out, and I wear a GoPro just for my own fun, and so, the next day, like I hunt on Saturdays or Sundays. The next time I'll get out, I'll when I clean the birds, if it's that day when I get home, I'll clean the birds, and then I'll note which male and female at that point, just do a little jot. And I don't know, it's a way for me to extend that hunt. I like to now it's starting to turn into a little paragraph below that of how well the dog did and how the pup progressed, or, hey, we had a step back today and it blew through, Dooner, the 9-year-old, blew through 2 coveys, just, and that happens. But, I just like to put little notes. I'm hoping that this is my little, I hate to say diary, but this is my little thing. When I'm 80, I can look back on and I can read it and say, it can prompt the memories of the forgotten past, and the good dogs that I've had and hunted with.
That's really cool. I love that. All right. So I know Tress. I can't say your name, man. Tress. I'm going to butcher it all night long.
It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
Do you want me to roll my R? Do you want me to make it easy for you?
Here's my hang up. When I look at it,
call me Trey.
Maybe I'm going to do that. It'll be like a nickname.
It's
because when I see it on the screen, I want to say,
just kidding.
I knew it was going to come out. I want to say Tress, but I think I know I'm saying it wrong, right?
I've been called so much worse. Don't worry about it, man.
How do you pronounce it then?
Tress.
Okay. See, I'm way off.
I know, man. It's all right.
I see. I knew I was off. That was the problem. All right,
Uno, dos, tres. Yep.
we're just gonna go with Trey. It's gonna be our little nickname. All right.
Let's do it.
Love it. All right. So Trey, you just you picked up a Brittany pup. Did anyone else out of the group pick up a new pup recently?
Josh did.
Yeah.
Well, Josh did.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about selection and like what are you guys looking for in that next dog you're getting, in that pup? Like talk a little bit about like what characteristics, traits that you're looking for the kind of hunting that you do.
With the breeder that we went with is canine Brittany's. You tell her what you're looking for, because she watches those puppies every day. So with me, I told her I want an all-around dog. I want a house dog, calm enough to be a house dog, something that really birdie, and I mean, really, that's all I said. I really wanted a roan on this one, so I told her I wanted a roan, and she picked one out for me.
Oh, no, right on.
With Blake, I told her I wanted a field trial dog that's ready to show and just hard nosed, and I got more than I expected. I got exactly what I asked for, and holy shit, man!
So Blake, yeah. So talk a little bit about Blake. So expand on that a little bit. Is he just kind of a all out like go dog?
Oh, he's go. Everyone asked me, how did you keep him in such good shape? I don't do anything. That dog is so high strung, so wound tight that he just burns his calories just on a regular basis. I mean, you could ask these guys, when he hunts, he is full go nonstop. He's exhausting. Even last month, 2 months ago, we did that trial up north. And when he wasn't running, he stood on top of a cooler, like excited, and watched the entire trial. Just full energy.
Just ready to roll.
Just ready to roll. And
after a while, we had to relocate the cooler because he would drag it a little closer, And this is like a Yeti 65, it has some stuff in it. He'd be just inching it forward,
He's like, don't take me out, coach. Put me in.
Oh, he's high strung, man. He's a lot for my wife. So this younger pup, I wanted something a little bit more calm.
Sure.
So, but hopefully it's just as birdie as Blake is.
I'm curious, how's Blake done in the field trial game? Have you done much in that?
Well, I've only ran him once. He did okay. He found 4 birds. A couple of the birds had some wild flushes, but he did really well. But the breeder, they took him. He's got his junior hunter title. They took him to the Futurities in Colorado a couple years ago. So he did a few trials without me. So he does all right. He does all right.
Cool. Right on. That's right. Is that something you want to continue, or do you just want to stick to hunting and that's your thing, or do you want to get into the trials a little more?
I think I'll do a little bit more trials just for the summertime to keep him in shape. I'm not going to do it during hunting season. Hunting season is number one. Sure. Trials would be secondary just for exercise and get him on birds.
Yeah, just to do something with your time, his time.
Yeah, exactly.
Have some fun.
Yep.
That's awesome. So Josh, how about you? Talk about your newer pup you picked up.
So I got it from the same breeder as Trey's, Canine Brittany's. And this one, I wanted a pup that's going to hunt closer to me. I had another Brittany. I have an older Brittany. Her name's Ellie. And then I had another Brittany. Her name was Haley, but she ranged pretty far. And unfortunately, she got away from Trace and I on a quail hunt, and she got hit by a car.
Oh, no.
And so it was devastating to all of us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. And, it was several years. I didn't want to get another dog after that. Took several years for me to finally just, you know what, we need to do this. My son's been asking for another pup. And so we went out to Canine Brittany's, and he picked out the pup. He named him Copper.
Nice.
And, but let me, I guess, rewind a little bit. Arlette, who runs Canine Brittany, she said, I told her I want a pup that's going to stay closer to us. And all their dogs are very birdy there. And so I wasn't concerned with that. But I just wanted one that was going to range a lot closer. Yeah. And so she picked out a few, and I also said I wanted a male this time. And so she picked out a couple males, and she said, these ones are going to be good. So we watched them. She had, the fishing pole with the wing on the string, and she would put it out there in front of the dogs. All of them would point at it. She would hide a pin raised bob white. They would go in there, they'd find it. So the birdie nest I was excited about, just to see all these little pups that were 8 weeks old pointing at these birds. And then, but the one that my son picked out, he didn't mind being held. He would come to you, and so it was those things that we were like, okay, we're going to pick this one right here.
That's awesome. I think I just want to touch on that for a second. You mentioned like the pup that comes to you and kind of submits and wants to be held. That's a really important key, because these dogs are house dogs for most people. And I think it's really important that, again, these dogs they're all going to have that drive, that desire, those instincts to hunt, most of them. But I think it's a really good thing to look for, of like, hey, you want a dog that can come up to your lap and just chill for a few minutes, or, be in the house really well. So that's a really good point to look for. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's good. He's definitely got a lot of energy. So you got to take him out and walk him, or take him to a park and just burn that energy off. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering if both yours, or Josh, I wonder if it was yours. We were messaging on Instagram a while back. Is it your pup that has a couple Snickso dogs in the pedigree? Or is it yours?
From Hoskins? Yeah, it's mine.
Okay, that's yours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually the one that I'm co-owning with K9. We got that pup from Alar, or Tequila Kennels. Oh yeah. And Arlette and I are doing co-owning on that, and it's got a good pedigree.
Right on. That's awesome. I love pedigrees. I start geeking out on it. I love seeing the connections and all the combination of pedigrees. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You guys touched on things, and we were talking about quail a little bit ago. You touched on things. You all said your last season that you said the desert birds were really good. It was an awesome year. But then you kind of separated the Mearns quail. Is that right? Like, give us a little, I guess, education, even for myself. Why did you separate those? Are they not a desert quail? Mearns?
Josh, answer this one. You're better at this.
No, a lot of down here, a lot of guys, they do separate them, because the desert birds, the Gambel's quail, heavily rely on winter rain, where as opposed to the Mearns quail heavily relies on, for breeding and for nesting and all that, summer monsoon rains. So when we have a good monsoon year, you're typically that winter, that fall, you're going to have a pretty good Mearns quail season. And then vice versa. If you have a good winter rain that year, you're going to have a pretty good Gambel's quail season that year.
Interesting. So, a monsoon, real quick, a monsoon, wouldn't that wash out nesting or wash out birds at all? Or they just need that much moisture and rain?
I think they need that much moisture and rain. So, and down where the Mearns quail hunt, or where the Mearns quail live, their habitat, it's higher in elevation. It's somewhere between 4,500 and 5,500. And they're in higher grass, and they have like scrub oak down there. And so it doesn't really wash them out. They're in a really hilly area as well, in canyons and stuff. So yeah, it doesn't really wash them out. The one thing that could is if the grasslands, if we have a fire and it burns a lot of the grasslands, or if the area gets really grazed down, the Mearns quail will, when they feel threatened, they will hold tight. And so if there's not a lot of cover, not a lot of grassland, and they're sitting there holding tight, hawks pick them up, they're easy pickings. Whereas if it's a taller grass, they can hide pretty well. And it's surprisingly what they look like, they can camouflage very well.
Gotcha. Okay. And then just to touch on the desert bird side. So you said winter rains are what help them the most. So is that
Correct. Correct.
What are we talking? October, November, December rains, or?
Yeah, usually from October to March. Those are the key areas. And they say, keep an eye on the rainfall between October and March. any areas that you find 5 inches of rain in that area, it's going to be pretty average. If you get up to 10 inches of rain in that area during those months, it's going to be a really good area, and not to tell anybody about that area because it's that good.
It's that good. Wow. Okay. I didn't know all that. That's really cool. That's awesome.
So, and then the scaled quail kind of fall
right in between
the same lines as, it's a little bit in between the two. So they're kind of spring, summer rains. They're dependent upon spring, summer rains.
Right on. Wow. That's fascinating. So I have my first Arizona quail hunt coming up in January. So I am going to be asking a lot of questions over the next few months and trying to learn a lot. So I'm excited.
You're coming with Jeremy,
That's
right?
a perfect time of year to be here. Perfect time of year.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. Yeah. So Jeremy Lowry and I are going down there. I think it's the second week of January. So
that's a perfect time to come chase all 3 species.
Yeah, we're pumped. I'd love to connect with you guys if I can too, while we're down there. All right, guys. So we touched on the vest a little bit. I want to dive into the vest a little bit. If people don't know what you're doing, catch us up a little bit on a vest review you guys have been posting on social media a little bit about.
Well, we're doing this vest review, and it's mostly with like the small companies, Chief Upland, Final Rise, Pike, and Q5. We got one of each of their vests, and we're just kind of going over them. And we really want to do it just to show everyone what's out there. None of these companies have storefronts. I guess Pike does now, but it's in one location. No one's going to go see it.
Isn't it Brent's house?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
I think it's his house.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Got a nice house by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we wanted to just get that information out there so people knew what these vests bring to the table. At this point, I'll tell you, all of them are great vests, man.
That's awesome.
You really have to pick. You really got to decide what you want out of a vest. If you go down the list, Chief Upland, it's not a strap vest. It's a full-on vest. It's got a great MOLLE system. It's a nice vest. I'm a strap vest person, so it's not my cup of tea. I think it'd be good for turkey hunting if I decide to start doing that. And then for Final Rise, that's a all-around good vest. It's a nice vest. I don't know what else to say about that one. Pike is cool. It's more for someone that doesn't want to carry a whole lot. It's like a minimalist vest.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks a little more minimal. Vest. Okay.
Yeah.
Your stuff would not fit, Jimmy.
I really like their strap system. Their shoulder straps are like seatbelt material. They are sweet, but yeah, there ain't enough cargo capacity for me.
And then we got the Q5. And as you know, we can load that Q5 up pretty well. It has lasted us. We got a sample one also to compare to with our older ones. But this vest, I mean, it holds up to a lot. We know it carries a lot of weight. It's a comfortable vest. I like the way all the weight distributes to the waist. I think the Final Rise does the same thing. I think Final Rise and Q5 are pretty similar in everything, really.
Nice. Now,
I'm really interested in the Final Rise actually has a really nice belt. That belt that they got with that Final Rise is it is sweet, so that'll be interesting to see how if it changes your points of connections, like where your wear points or anything, because right now all the weight's transferred to our shoulders and stuff, so we're not, but that Final Rise belt system is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys so are you wearing them this season coming up, or did you test some of these last season?
We got them in the off season. We got them in the off season.
Okay.
So we really didn't put them through any hunts. I think we all hiked with them. We all put them on, wore them around the house.
Sure.
I had our wives adjust them for us. I don't know.
Just
did a little training. Yeah, I had some training with them, but yeah, we didn't get to put them through too much.
Sure.
but we really want to get it done by September because our feelings are that's when everyone's starting to look at new vests, getting ready for the season. So we want to put this out there by September, so everyone hears what we have to say. If they don't care what we say, I mean, at least we'll have pictures of them.
Yeah, totally. So you guys post a picture. They're all hanging on the kitchen table or something, or chair. You have them all lined up.
Yep.
No, I know. I mean, people love gear. There's no way around it. People just love gear. They love seeing what's out there, what's new, what works, what doesn't work. And so I think everyone's going to be, I think everyone's eagerly awaiting. I kind of feel they're interested to see someone. I think you guys might be the first ones who are doing kind of a complete review on all these. And so I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool to see what I hope we do well.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome. A couple of questions on the initial impressions of some of the vests, if you don't mind. I have a couple of specific questions on each of them. With the Chief Upland vest, is it I guess a thin enough vest that you could keep on, hop in the truck and drive to your next spot? Or is it still bulky where you would take it off? It's
bulky where you take it off.
Okay.
In my opinion. Yeah, I think it's bulky to where I'd take it off.
Would the rest of you guys agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't think it doesn't have that like shelf type back like the Final Rise or the Q5 does, where it's actual kind of open air type thing. So I don't think it would be too uncomfortable to be able to do it, to wear it if you were just puddle jumping, so to speak. But it just depends on how much stuff you jam in it too.
Sure, because once you get attachments and accessories on there, it's going to get a little bit bulkier. Yeah, it looks like it hugs the body pretty tight. Is that right?
It holds it tight. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Does it make you look slimmer?
If it did, I might go with that one.
It's like a girdle. We'll get you a small. We'll cinch it up good.
Yeah. Yeah. It just looks tight. I just need. Right. I don't know. It looks like a solid vest. I just look like I would be claustrophobic a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. On the, what was I going to ask? On the Pike, you mentioned Jimmy, you mentioned the shoulder straps. Are they literally like seatbelt material? Just
absolutely
pretty much straight. And is it in a good way where it's super thin? You don't notice it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't look like it, the whole time I was wearing it and messing around with it. They don't fold up. It's kind of like your seatbelt. How's your seatbelt always go across your shoulders and across your chest and never crease or anything like that? Just like that. It was that thin, identical material, and just super. If you don't want to have that, if you don't want to have any kind of interference for your shotgun, that's the shoulder strap for you right there. I mean, that shoulder strap next to skin.
That's awesome. How's the waist belt on that one? Can you get that thing cinched down pretty good and pretty comfortable?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, right on.
Absolutely.
Right on. And how about the Q5? That's probably the vest out of all these I have not looked into very much at all. I know it's been out there for a while. I think did they change ownership?
They've changed last year. They've changed ownership a few times. Dan Priest sold it a while back, and then that second owner just recently sold it to a family in Texas, I think. So they've gone through 3 different ownerships. Okay. That's kind of why you see the lack of advertising and stuff right now. But they're still making vests, and they're still making good vests. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Has it changed much, you think, because you said you had some original ones?
Yeah, so they've added some pockets over the years and made a few design changes to like the mesh. So it's changed a little bit.
Right on.
It's evolved a little, but for the most part, it still holds true.
Okay,
absolutely.
Right. And yeah, it looks like it has a ton of pockets and suits Jimmy's needs just fine. So, Jimmy, how much does your pack weigh again?
30 pounds.
30 pounds.
Yeah, it's seriously 28 to 30 pounds, just depending on how many, what I shoot. But that's loaded up too, and I carry a ton of water. I mean, The majority of the stuff. I mean, we have the 2 water holders on the side. Then inside the back pouch, there's 2 loops that you put 2 water bottles in there. So it's designed to hold 4 water bottles.
Sure.
And then And then I throw, more in there. And then the attachment pack, I put a couple 12-ounce, the regular bottled water for myself. All the bicycle 16-ounce water bottles are for squirting dogs and stuff.
Sure. You got a pretty big first aid kit in there too, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And I try to limit down mostly because I don't know exactly what's going to be needed. Like the other day, man, I almost bought the porcupine kit from Gun Dog Supply.
Oh, yeah.
Like, man,
I've seen that.
Because you guys might run across them. We don't really run across too many. I haven't seen a porcupine in a while here, but I was getting nervous. Like, that's like one of my fears, like getting up in Nebraska and getting my dog into a porcupine. Or I seen a possum up there last time we were in Nebraska, and they're meaner. They're mean looking, and I just don't want them to get into them.
I ran into one in Nebraska only one time, and that thing scared the crap out of me.
I'm yelling at my dog, and you can't do anything. You can't shoot it. The dog's going to try and go get it and everything else. I just don't want to get in there. So, but, I refrained from buying the porcupine jaw holder opener type deal for the dog. But I don't know.
What we really need to get is a skunk cleaning. Because I know we've been on hunts where our dogs pointed a skunk and we jumped out of there pretty quick before we got sprayed. We're like, oh,
that'd be nasty.
Just for the record, Will, I was standing back. I said, "You flush them." And he went in there. He looks in a bush. It's a skunk. And I grabbed my dog first and ran. I didn't care.
You're out of there. You're back to the truck already.
Come on.
You're a smart one there, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Get your dog and run. Hey, I was looking at my notes. Are you guys testing the Hunt Ready vest as well?
We aren't. I already asked them if we could get one. It just didn't pan out.
Didn't work. Okay. I know it's another pretty popular one out there right now.
Yeah, it looks nice. I would have loved to get my hands on that one, but didn't work. I'm kind of reviewing all these vests was a lot more work than I expected.
I bet.
I think these guys will agree with me.
Absolutely. It's hard to say no good. It's hard to do that. You look at great attributes on all of them and you're like, I like this one, but this one's good, so like Trey said before, there's not a bad one in there.
Yeah.
It just depends on what your needs are. If you want a full vest,
that's the key. Everyone's needs are going to be so different, and what they preference and what they value is going to be so different. And because everyone on this podcast knows I love the Final Rise. I think it's great. But it suits my needs and what I was looking for and all that. But the next guy down the street from me, it's going to be totally different.
Yep.
Yeah. So our review, hopefully, we've all done them and we're collaborating now. They're not going to say this is a bad vest or anything. This is what we like about the vest, or, this is what I like about the vest, or however that works out. That's where we're at on them. We've done the reviews. We just need to collaborate on how we're going to post them.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys, what's kind of the medium you're going to use to get this out there? Is it going to be a video, podcast, Instagram? Like what are you guys thinking?
I think I need to get off my my butt and start working on the website a little bit, because we'll post it up on the website, but then I think we'll share some stuff on Instagram to get more people clicking over to the website.
Gotcha.
I think that's the route we're going to go.
Right on.
If you want to bring us on again for the vest review, I think we might be be willing to do that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. That'd be super fun to get you guys back on, and we could do even a deeper dive into some of these. I had my Final Rise sitting next to me on the floor. I was like, just in case we dive into any specifics, I had it ready.
We can't do that yet.
Yeah, I was ready though. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I was waiting for it.
I appreciate that.
Of course.
The excitement.
I'm like Jimmy. I'm like, always ready. I just don't carry as much stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
As long as you hunt with somebody like me, you're good to go.
Exactly. You got to ask your partner of how much they're carrying, and you're like, oh, yeah, I can dump all this stuff out.
And just for the record, if you ain't carrying enough water, I'm going to load you down with some more.
Well, good.
I got extra bottles for you.
Good. No, I'm a water Nazi. A couple Arizona specific questions, if you don't mind. The two come to my mind. Are you running boots on your dogs, and are rattlesnakes an issue?
I do not run boots on my dogs unless it's like a really, really, really rocky area. When I do put boots on, I use Lewis dog boots with the vents in them. As far as snakes, snakes are an issue out here. They're
in the early season.
In the early season, absolutely. I like some of us. I know I don't hunt till around Thanksgiving when when the weather's a lot cooler. Snakes are still active all winter long, but not as much as they are during the summer. I mean, you might run into one during the hunting season. But yeah, snakes are always an issue.
So they're always out. It's just they're not as maybe aggressive.
Right.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
There's less out. There's very few out during the winter. But I think we all get our dogs snake avoidance trained. I will tell you, it has helped me out. My dogs don't bark. Last year, 2 years ago, dogs were barking in the backyard. I was like, what the hell's going on? Went back. Sure enough, there's a Mojave rattlesnake just in the backyard. Wow. So I was happy the dogs were trained, and they alerted me that there was something up, and I took care of it.
Dang. That's good. I've never, knock on wood, never ran into one, but I'm going up to Montana this September, and even up there in Eastern Plains of Montana, there can be snakes up there. So I'm just a little nervous, but yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. And then last kind of big topic before we wrap up here, guys, just a little bit on training your dogs. What do you guys kind of each do as far as training goes? Are you, like what are you working on right now? What do you do to get your dogs ready for season? And love to hear from maybe each of you.
I'll go.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Go ahead. Yeah. So right now I'm primarily working with, I work with Trace a lot, but I train my own dogs, and we go out to Canine Brittany's kennel, probably about once a month, every 3 weeks, we'll go out there and they'll give us some pointers. Steve and Arletta out there are terrific with just helping us through any tough points, So I've just been taking the pup out. She's the project. And she's starting to learn to back. I mean, she can back, but really what I'm trying to hold her to is I don't really want to say steady to shot, but that's what they want. In the reality of it out there, I hold her steady to shot. I try to, whatever, but in the field, I'm okay with steady to flush. And I say that if I hit the bird. Now, it sucks when the dog shoots, takes off at steady to flush and she runs through the whole covey, and that was a single that, so I can see benefits in both ways. So I'm starting to work on steady to flush with her. And then as far as training, I got a neighbor that has an older neighbor that has a retirement cabin up north. So he has a pool down here. So I just watch his pool and I clean the pool and he just lets me swim my dogs. He
nice.
He himself has, that's terrific, man. He himself runs, he's older, but he runs some English pointers. So those dogs kind of get into, get in the pool. So he's all, I don't think he knew what he was buying into when my dogs get in the pool. His kind of get on the steps and stuff like that. But yeah, so I get them down there and I do them about 45 minutes a day or 5 times a week, try to get them in there. And, it's a lot of retrieve, just because that's the only way to keep them in there. They're not just going to jump in there and just swim around the whole time. So you just keep throwing the ball in there and do that. That's the only real exercise other than every other week whenever we go out to Canine Brittany. It's just too hot. It's super hot, but you don't want to subject them to that, out of shapeness in October, and just run them full force.
Totally.
As far as like at the beginning of the season, I'll run half days, I'll just run till 10 o'clock or whatever it is, just until it warms up. You get out there and I'll run the opening weekend. I like to hunt. So I get out there and I hunt from that point, but I'll keep the session short, so to speak. So once it starts warming up, if it gets around 70 or 80 degrees, or whatever, I get the dogs, load them up. It's time to go. That's when those snakes are going to be coming out and getting active.
Right on.
That's what I'm doing.
Cool. Josh, how about you? What are you working on with your dogs?
Right now, like Jimmy said, it's pretty hot outside down here. It's thankfully not been super hot this week, but we hit 115, 117 days like that. You try to keep them, and I'll take them for walks. And what I do have is I have a couple of frozen birds. And what I'll do is sometimes I'll take them out and go to like a little field and I'll hide them and I'll just let the dogs, that's a good mental workout for them. It's just to work the field and find these frozen birds. And then, so I don't keep them out very long.
Sure.
Like Jimmy, you can take them to a pool and get them to just exercise that way. But, and the beginning of the season, we'll just do half day hunts, maybe hunt for 2 or 3 hours and call it quits. And, just kind of, just build up to the later season, the funner hunts, in December, January, where you can hunt all day. And, but yeah, just now, I just take them for walks is about all I do for exercise.
Right on. Quick, just kind of random question I was curious on. So all your Brittany's, out of everyone here, how many retrieve naturally and how many did you guys have to force break?
With me, Hick retrieve naturally. He's pretty good at retrieving. Blake, I'm working on. I didn't force fetch him. It's more of a here to me issue. When I do here, it's my bad on the training where he just turns around at 5 feet away from me, which I always thought was okay. But now it's starting to affect the retrieving to where he's just dropping it further off. So now that's what I'm working on this summer is here to me every time. So right now the pup is looking like he's a natural retriever.
Yeah, nice. Right on.
It's pretty nice. He's already impressing me.
That's awesome. Jimmy and Josh, do your Brits retrieve naturally or no?
My first one did not, but now she's really good. She'll put her whole head into a thick prickly pear patch and pull out a gamble quail that gets burrowed in there. And she'll bring it to me, which I love. And the pup, so far, he seems like he's retrieving really well. We throw all kinds of toys and he brings them back to us. He loves to play fetch.
That's awesome.
So on mine, my old girl, 13-year-old, that was my first pointer I ever had. I was really concerned about training her to point, and I didn't do anything about retrieve at all, not really realizing that that's pretty much natural for them. So she retrieves zero. Like she'll go grab a bird and bring it back about 3 or 4 steps, drop it, and then start hunting again. Okay. And I didn't do anything with that. My second one, the 9-year-old, he was trained by my father-in-law, and he retrieves well. And then now the 1.5-year-old one, she may need to have a little force fetch session. At this point, she's 70-30. She'll retrieve 70% of the time. And it really depended on how bad the bird was hit too. If you smoke a bird and there's foul stuff hanging out of them, she's not really too much into. She's like, I'm good. I'm good. I'll pass on that. The other issue is they know that their big sister, that lab, she retrieves everything. So they run out there and it'll be a race to it. And my big thing is I correct with the e-collar the lab if she tries to take one away from somebody else. I mean, that dog got that. Now, if that dog drops the bird, then she can grab it and bring it back, and then we go about our business. But yeah, so far I'm pretty pleased with the pup. She retrieved a good one for Trace last year. She'll bring it to him, but we did that field trial a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, I guess, June, and she did okay there. She stopped short a little bit, but it'll be all right. I don't feel. I know your dog's being forced right now, or you got it in the trainer right now. That'll be depending on this season, that'll be the next step. If nice. It doesn't kind of work the way I won't be afraid of that, because a guy like you, to be quite honest, has done it. Trace hasn't done it. Josh hasn't done it, but I follow you, and like I said, I know you got your younger one up there right now being trained up like that, correct?
So my French Brittany came back from a trainer a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and he was just there getting steady to wing shot in the fall. But he does retrieve naturally though. That's the French Brittany. The 4-year-old American, I force broke him last summer because he wanted to keep hunting. He sees a bird. He's like, so you go pick that up and I'll go find more birds. And then the newest one, Win, right now, she's kind of half and half. I don't think she'll be, I think she'll be similar to Gage, my older one, where she just wants to keep hunting. So we'll see how it pans out for her.
Sure.
So yeah.
Did the force braking work good for Gage?
Really good. Yeah. Yeah. He got to a point because he was 3 when I force broke him. I would throw bumpers, balls, birds, whatever it might be. He'd run after it, look at it, and go his own way. Now I can throw whatever it might be. I could throw this microphone I'm talking into, and he'd go grab it and bring it back. So, and it also helps with water. You guys are mentioning just, water work and getting them conditioned in the summer. He still doesn't love water, but if I throw something out there, it's a good way to get him some conditioning in the summer. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I tell you what, I noticed that if there's a lively bird or a running bird, because our birds hit the ground and run a lot, that pup really wants to chase it down, and that's when she gets most of her retrieves.
Gotcha.
She'll retrieve it all the way on a live bird. If there's a smoked bird that's just out there 20 yards, she'll get it and bring it back part of the way and drop it and turn around. But she really likes those the chase.
Yeah, it's a little more exciting for them.
Yeah.
Going back to the sorry.
Go for it.
Talking about the running birds, the down birds that run, they're a pain. And Jim was talking about, steady to release or steady to shot. For trials, I'm good with steady release. I mean, that's what they expect.
Yeah.
But for hunting, there's no way you want to do a steady to release, because those gambles, you hit them, and if they don't die on the spot, they're running. So by the time you release your dog, that bird's got a head start on it, and the places they hide, that cactus, it's miserable to get them out of there.
Oh.
So if steady to shot works great for me on these wild birds.
No, that makes sense. They sound like
Absolutely.
pheasant almost a little bit. Pheasant are awful, notorious for running too.
Yes.
It sounds like that a little bit.
In that. Yeah.
Okay. So your dog needs to get after it.
They need to get after it. There's no time to.
I don't want to be going digging around in a
touch its
cactus.
head, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. All right, guys. Last question. So I end on a rapid fire question segment, but before we go into that, just someone who's listening to this podcast who is just going into their first upland season, or maybe they're listening to this and it's already a season. Like, what's some advice you might give someone who's brand new? Maybe they just picked up their first bird dog. Maybe they're entering into their first year coming up here. What's something you would share with them?
Ask for help. Don't be scared to ask for help. Put your pride away and ask for help. That's it. I would say don't be afraid to explore new areas. I don't know what else. Ask for help, really.
That's
and
solid.
Don't be too hard on yourself. You're going to screw up your first dog. End of story. Yeah. You will screw up your first dog, but your next dog will get better, and the next one will get better than that. So just stay patient, and just enjoy it, and just have fun with it. That's my advice.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be afraid to get out there and do it. I think the same way. Don't be afraid to, have a plan, be able to tell your wife or somebody, or your dad, your mom, hey, I'm going to go out towards this location, so somebody knows where you're at. But just get out there. If you can't find anybody to hunt with, just turn them loose, man. Get out there and let that dog go. Follow them around. We do a lot of hiking without finding birds on some years, and we still get out there and do it. I mean, it's great for the dogs, it's great for you. I mean, how can the exercise hurt you? But just get out there and do it. It's hard to get anything accomplished sitting on the couch.
So well said. So well said. Josh, anything you'd add to that?
Yeah, I would say your first season out, just try to get out as much as possible. Your dog's going to learn probably more out there in the field than what you'll be able to teach it. And so the more opportunities the dog has and you have to get out there and walk around and just learn from each other and build that relationship, as well as just getting out there and learning the new scents and everything, that dog's going to learn so much the more you can get out. And just try to start, just a good rule of thumb is just get out there and try to start near some water source. There's going to be birds that hang out near water, and then just work your way out from there and just walk as much as possible. You're gonna come across them. Might be frustrating, might get skunked a few times, but you're going to be able to get through it, and your dog's going to learn a lot, and then everything's going to click one day, and the light bulb's going to come on the dog, it's going to know what it needs to do. And my theory too is I need to as well. The dog's doing his job. I need to condition myself as well so I can do my job, become a good shot, get out there and exercise, and so you can keep up with the dog.
Yes.
Someone should have told me to become a good shot years ago.
Wait, you need to be a good shot? What?
Yeah.
No one told me that.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I would say to the veterans that are listening, help the young guys out. Help the rookies out. Don't be, not everything's a secret. Not everything's a secret. Help the young guys out.
I think those veterans out there have so much just wisdom and knowledge that doesn't have to be, hey, here's the exact pin to go. That's not really what everyone's looking for. Right. Some guys, yes, are looking for that, but that's another story. Some guys are just looking like, hey, how do I just pick a general spot, or how do I, X, Y, and Z? So I think you're right there.
And that goes for dog training too. Not everyone has bird launchers. Not everyone has everything they need for training. Our sport, our hobby, whatever you want to call it, is expensive. I mean, it is. That's not including your much you're spending on your dog. You're talking about training equipment, GPS, e-collars, kennels. So if you have all that stuff and someone is just starting out, invite them to go training, show them what to do.
Well, exactly. And the product of that is going to be that person, that newbie, that rookie is going to have a better experience working with their dog. They're not going to get maybe as frustrated, or whether it's hunting or whatever it might be, it's going to create a better experience for them. It's going to, and then hopefully create that lifelong addiction, or whatever you want to call it, that we all have too.
Exactly. Because it's intimidating getting into this sport, and everyone's just like, kick rocks, go figure it out yourself. Yeah. It's frustrating, man.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. That was a little bit of my experience initially getting into it. And eventually kind of pushed through that a little bit. Got connected with some good people who were willing to do that. But at first it was and it still is to some degree. There's some people out there that you walk into, a gun shop, and you kind of want to talk to some older guys there, and they're kind of like, who the hell are you?
Right.
It's like,
exactly.
It's like, I just want to learn from you.
Yep.
Well, cool, guys. We're going to go through a rapid fire section. Because there are so many of you, just give me your quick off the cuff answer. And then we'll roll through these and wrap this up. All right. I know it's getting late here. What gun are you carrying out into the uplands, and a brief description why?
I've been shooting a 20 gauge over under Beretta, but I just recently picked up a cheap Stevens 5.55 28 gauge.
Nice.
Give it a shot.
Have you ever shot a 28 gauge before? Or?
Yeah, I had a semi-auto, but I was going the over and under on this one.
Right on. And is your Beretta over under silver pigeon?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Nice.
It's not a silver pigeon. It's Onyx.
Okay. Right on. Josh.
Beretta silver pigeon over and under 20 gauge. I like it. I've been using that for years now. Very reliable, and it's light. I like how light it is. A lot of times I'm out trekking for all day, and I want something light, something nice and compact and light. And so that's what I carry around.
Right on. It's a beautiful gun too.
All right. I'm shooting a 12 gauge over and under.
Ooh,
Ruger Red Lake.
Jimmy with the 12.
Yeah.
Jimmy's carrying a 30-pound pack and a 12 gauge.
That's right. And I don't know, I've had it for 13 years. My wife got it for me for my 10th anniversary. I love it. I feel comfortable with it. Best thing about it, with all these over and unders, I love the double chokes, man. I can run with a full choke up top and improve cylinder or improve modify, whatever I'm doing, depending on the seasons, depending on the bird flushes. Beginning of the season, there'll be a lot more open chokes on both of them. And then towards the end, it'll be maybe an improved modified on top and modified on bottom,
right
for
on.
the close ones. Yeah. I love the double choke action.
Yeah, that's a great point. Love that. All right. Favorite dog breed besides the one you all own?
Besides,
it cannot be a lab and cannot be a Brit.
I might go GSP.
Okay. Right on. Josh?
Springer.
A what?
A Springer Spaniel.
Springer. Okay. Oh, it goes back because you kind of started with those, didn't you? Or you had
My
an
dad
experience?
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Like it. I like it. Jimmy?
I'm going to kind of say, will you count the pointing lab as one? Because I've never had one.
No,
I've never shot
I'm
over
not
one.
counting the pointing lab. new breed.
That's my next one.
Pick a new breed.
All right. I dig the GSPs. I like their coat. I really do like their coat out here in the hot weather. We still got to deal with a little bit of coat maintenance with the Britneys. And I think that real short GSP hair would be all right. My wife, on the other hand, she's all about the wire hair. She thinks those the wire hair pointers are so cool looking with their beards and stuff. I just think it looks like.
That's why she loves me. That's the beard, bro.
those poor Griffons would die in Arizona, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure too.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Favorite bird species to hunt, and when I say species, it can be one type of quail or a pheasant or whatever it might be.
I'm going Merns.
Okay.
I'm going. That's a tough one. Scaly.
Oh, okay.
I am going with the gambles. I love the pheasant. I mean, I'm going to Nebraska this year in November to hunt pheasant, but I love the fact that with the gambles, you get multiple shots at that covey. When that covey goes up, you got singles and doubles laying back after the full covey rise. They don't all leave at once versus, I guess they don't always leave like that on pheasant, but most of the time when I'm hunting pheasant, we run a pheasant clear to the end and then it flies into private land and you get that one opportunity at that bird type deal.
Yeah.
So
I like how you all picked a different quail. That's good.
Yeah.
We force each other to go chase the other birds. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we really do.
Exactly. Oh man. Okay. Couple more here. We're going to save that one for the end. Solo hunt with you and your dog or a group hunt with buddies and dogs?
A couple years ago, I'd have said solo hunt because I don't like many people. But I'm going to go with a group of friends right now because of the guys I've met and with these two, obviously. I'm going to go with the group.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a group. It's a lot funner.
Group. Jimmy?
I'm going with a solo.
Thanks, Jimmy.
With these. I really love hunting.
That's my
with
boy,
you guys,
Jimmy.
That's great. But
I knew I liked you.
It's awesome when you get out there and you can, when your dog's getting birdie and you can move into that position without having to communicate that with anybody else, or when there's some. I just like the interaction with just me and the dog. I really do.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't like that. She gets all nervous all the time. Who are you taking with you? I said, taking Liberty Bell, my lap. I'm taking Torvey. She's all, no, who else is going with you? She gets a little nervous about that.
Yeah, my wife does not like for me to go hunting alone.
I was going to ask, is it they don't like you going alone?
No, they don't.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely not.
Interesting.
Oh, I've put myself in bad positions before. That's why.
That's a good point. I've also I personally have not been in bad positions. My buddies have been in bad positions with other people. So it probably would have been better if they were alone, but it's a long story. All right. Two more here. Beverage of choice after a hunt.
Out here, it's water all day long.
That's the first water answer I've gotten on this podcast.
But if I'm staying overnight, and I'm going to go with an IPA. I like me a good IPA.
Yeah, right on. And does Arizona have some good breweries down there?
They've got a few good ones, yeah.
A few good ones? Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, I've heard, not Flagstaff. What's the big biking place? Sedona. Don't they have some good breweries?
Sedona's got some good breweries. Okay. I mean, everyone's heard of Four Peaks Brewery.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But they just sold out to the big companies. So.
Oh.
I guess that's 2 years ago, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Josh?
At the end of the hunt, I'm probably pretty dehydrated. I'm either going to do something like a Gatorade or water or something. There's been a couple of times that Trace and I have gone out to some restaurants and might have a beer or something, but most of the time I'm just trying to dehydrate or to hydrate.
You're just trying to get ready for the next day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair point. Jimmy?
Having said that with those guys, I prefer, I like the Four Peaks Kilt Lifter. I drink Four Peaks Kilt Lifter, or old school, reminiscent of the old man, the guys that took me out, the Miller High Life, champagne and beer.
Miller High Life. There you go. Oh man. Okay. Sorry.
That's a hard one to take right there.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm a big Coors guy. Coors Banquet. I'll take that all day long. And someone made fun of me. I think it was Adam Peck made fun of me for that one time. He's like, "That's a fancy beer."
Yeah.
It's not fancy. It's like, anyways. All right. Last thing we'll end with. Best piece of gear that you guys added this past season that you found really helpful, that you really enjoyed.
I'm gonna go with my Garmin watch, my Instinct. Able to look at the dogs on the watch without having to pull up the handheld. I learned how to mark coveys just by pushing the button on the watch. And then it
say what? Hold on.
What? It's hard to explain, man. It's hard to explain.
Okay, we're gonna take that offline.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and then we're able to track just where we went with the watch too. It's been pretty nice.
That's great.
I can't think of a new piece of equipment that I got last year.
How about your Orvis pants? Your pants. You were talking about those.
Yeah, those Orvis pants. I love those.
Okay.
Probably one of the most comfortable upland bird hunting pants I've ever wore.
Oh, right on. Is it just the Orvis Upland pant, or is there a certain model?
I think it's Orvis Upland or lightweight or something like that. I can't remember the exact model, but yeah, I mean, super flexible to get through barbed wire fences and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about hanging up on anything. Very nice. I like them.
Nice. My only question on those, do they have a flexible waistband or a stretchy waistband?
I know they have a belt loop, but I think there is flex there. There's flex in the crotch, flex on the knees.
Okay. I'm all about the flex. So that's a deal breaker for me. I like that. I like that flex. If you're in a long car drive, it's just nice to have that stretch waistbands. I'm all about that.
Hey, well, ask him your real question. Do they make them in large, tall?
Yes, tall. Large, tall. Thank you, Jimmy.
Hey, man, I'll tell you. I'm
best
one
friends.
of your biggest fans. I'm one of your biggest
Do
fans.
they make a large, tall? No, Jimmy, Orvis is not a large, tall believer. I've already checked their website. In shirts, at least. They are not a large, tall, friendly company.
What the heck?
I know. I checked. Don't worry. All right, Jimmy, favorite piece of gear you added, sir?
Mine's definitely the Garmin Instinct. Trace showed me how to mark coveys on my watch. We'll be going over that closer to season because we know how good my technical abilities are, but we'll be relearning that. But yeah, absolutely, man. I love to be able to look down and, track 3 dogs at a time. Sometimes I run 3 dogs, tell me one, points the arrow, tell them 80 yards, 40 yards, 300 yards with the pup, it's just like that. So definitely the watch to go in conjunction with my tracking unit. Love it.
Right on. Yeah. No, watch is pretty sweet to quick glances and stuff. I just feel like you're able to just be in the hunt a little bit more because you can just do quick little look at your watch and on your way. So it's awesome.
I don't know. This next year though, man, for my birthday, I just got the GoPro 9. I've been running like a GoPro 4.
Nice.
And I tell you what, you can't see really the birds fly with the GoPro 4, but I used a 7, my neighbor's 7 one time, and it was pretty amazing. So I'm pretty pumped about this upcoming year with the GoPro 9. That's gonna
be some great footage. Yeah,
I hope so.
yeah. Well, hopefully you take some birds down on camera. Actually,
yeah. At least get some good points. At least if I can get good points, I'll just edit it from that. Hey, look at that point.
Anything can be edited. Exactly.
That's right.
Well, guys, if anyone wants to just follow along in this journey you're on, see your photos, your story, what you're doing, what's the best way for them to keep up with you?
Just Instagram. That's probably all we're at, other than the website, but that's still in the works.
Awesome. Okay.
Upland Arizona.
Upland_Arizona.
Love it. You got that awesome white logo. What bird is that on the logo?
You got Merns up.
Three of them. That's right.
You got a Merns up top. To the left is the Scaly, and to the right it's the Gambles.
Beautiful. Who designed that for you?
My good buddy Luke designed it for me. He's out in New Mexico.
Oh,
He
right
does
now.
great work.
Right now. Yeah, it looks awesome, guys. I love it. You did nice, or Luke did nice.
He did do.
Yeah, you didn't do it. Luke did it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much. It was really fun just getting to talk with you all and hear a little bit of your story and how you got started upland hunting, and just hear more about your dogs, your experiences, and a little bit more about Arizona.
Thanks for having us, and you're doing a great job, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Will, I'd like to say, I've been hunting for a long time, and before your podcast, Trace told me about your podcast early on. This guy just started. It got me into podcasts. So I've listened to all yours. I mean, some of them, you know how it is. Sometimes you like, but even like the one, we took a road trip and my wife was in there and we were listening to you all the way from Arizona to Mississippi. And she really dug the one with your wife on there.
No,
too.
nice.
So, and then your post with her at the Magnolia store, I just laughed my butt off. It's like opening weekend and all this stuff. So you have a beautiful family, and thanks for having us. It's great.
Thank you, Jimmy. I really appreciate that. That Magnolia trip my wife was in her element. So
she looks just completely happy. Like it was, like you said, you summed it up great. It was like opening morning, man. You're ready. And she was just pumped.
Exactly. So. And that the picture you're referencing, we just stepped on the property. We were there 3 minutes and she was.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that. And really, really fun catching up with you guys. You're putting out great content. So I look forward to definitely having you guys back on here soon. Okay.
All right, man.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. You guys have a great night. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's a wrap of episode 18 with Upland, Arizona. Jimmy, Josh, and Trace, thank you guys so much for your time. I really enjoyed getting to know you three a little bit more, talking bird dogs, Brittany's, bashing pointing labs. Yes, Jimmy, pointing labs. No, it's not a thing. But thanks for doing this vest review as well. I cannot wait to see your full review, see as you put these vests through their paces, and just stay tuned with that. So really exciting things to come from Upland, Arizona. Hey guys, don't forget, please leave a rating and a written review on Apple Podcasts. Really helps get this podcast out to more hunters just like you. If you're enjoying the podcast as well, share it on social media. Share it in your stories, make a post about it. I'll send you images if you need to, but would love to get this out there to more people who maybe have not heard of the podcast yet, but would love to give them the opportunity. So guys, season's coming very soon. Keep doing something with your dogs. Get them ready. Get them in shape. Keep them in shape, actually. Keep those dogs ready to hit the prairies in under 30 days. So guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next week, if you're not fortunate enough to hunt with or own a Brittany, don't worry, because any bird dog is better than no bird dog. Go put some miles on those boots and enjoy.